Good evening, everyone. We're very glad that you're able to join us this evening, albeit in a very different format. Unfortunately, we're unable to have this presentation in the hall, which is obviously what we would far prefer to have done. But given the pandemic that we're experiencing, we do need to get information across to you regarding the start of the school year. And so we do thank you for your patience and what we've done and the processes that we put into place so far this year. We thank you for your patience and your support, and obviously I hope that you enjoy this video and just a little bit of information that we're going to give you with regard to your child's school year, going into a new grade. Always a little bit exciting, but a little bit nerve-wracking, and so hopefully this information will just help you ease that process, make it a little bit smoother, and obviously take your child through and you're able to guide them as they move through the year. I want to talk about our school a little bit, and I'm passionate, although I'm new, I'm passionate about our school, and I want to reinforce the values that we stand for. We are a Christian co-educational school. What does that mean? Well, I want to emphasize the fact that as a Christian school, we are not a Christian school and we hold to a Christian ethos, but we practice being a Christian school daily. This is not something that we give lip service to, but we are a Christian school, and we are proudly, if I can say that in the same sentence as Christian, we're a proudly Christian school. And so there's a lot of what we do during the day in terms of our interactions with each other and around the way in which we run our school that's based from a Christian perspective. It doesn't mean therefore we're exclusive and we don't encourage inclusivity. We're an inclusive school, and we encourage people from all walks of life. We encourage people from various backgrounds to join us as we make this our school community. A school community that is run on love and Christian principles, but that doesn't mean that there's no discipline that runs in the background, and Mr. Mukabra will be talking that through a little bit later. So I'd like you to welcome you to this school and that we are passionate about in terms of developing and running. Further to that, I like to think of us running our Christian principles as not a pillar of the school or something we talk to, but it's our foundation. And this year, although COVID might obviously restrict us in terms of our plans, we've got big plans to extend our 4 big pillars that we talk to at our school, and that being academics, cultural, sporting, and outreach. And those 4 pillars are big pillars that we are, again, not just giving lip service to, but we intend during the course of this year to develop all 4 pillars. Our academics is already strong, and we are so chuffed with the results that we've had in previous years. We still wait for last year's results to come out, but we are so chuffed with the results we've had in previous years, and we have an academic staff that are really working hard behind the scenes to make sure that we get the best results from our learners. The other 3 pillars, our cultural, sporting, and outreach, are things that we are developing and working hard at, and hopefully if COVID allows us, we will obviously develop those areas of the school too, and continue to develop those areas of the school. Our goal is to inspire our learners, the children who come to this school, to be brave, to be confident, to talk to, and we educate them and try and develop servant leadership so that they can end up being the best version of themselves by the time they graduate at the end of their matric year. And so that's something that's always in the forefront of our mind, is what are we doing, and are we doing things that are best for our learners, realizing that we're part of a bigger community, school community. At this stage, I'd like to thank you. Thank you for your support in bringing your child to us. Thank you for your support in knowing that we are going to be developing your child just as you would want to be the best version of themselves. And thank you for the positive way in which you've been talking about us in our greater community in this area. We really, really appreciate that, and I really appreciate your support in terms of that greater community and the talk that goes on in the greater community. I'd like to just talk a little bit about the COVID and the protocols that we have put in place. And I know that there's a certain nervousness with some people, while others are desperate for their children to try and approach normality and be back at school. We are very confident in the protocols that we have in place. I want you to understand that we are not doing anything illegal, but we are held to every law and rule that has been put to us. And in actual fact, our standards and our protocols that we put in place adhering to the safety and the health of our learners and our staff. Every person who comes onto this campus, they are over and above the protocols that have been prescribed to us by the Department of Education. We at Curro, we make sure that we have been putting things in place that will ensure the safety and the health of our learners and staff, every person on this campus. And I want to really just make you confident in what we are doing, and realizing that it's one of the things that obviously is at the forefront of our minds, because we're wanting to get every one of our learners back on this campus as quickly as possible, keeping their health, but trying to get them to an approach that is as close to normal as is humanly possible, given the pandemic and the state of the pandemic that we find ourselves in. We will be running extramurals during the course of the year. And I want to assure you that as we start extramurals, and certainly that's not going to start next week, our focus next week is to get our learners back at school, but slowly we will graduate the implementation of our extramural program, again adhering to all the protocols. We're not going to go into full contact sport, but we will be running, rather than full contact session, we'll be running sessions where we're obviously getting a conditioning and our learners out there doing a little bit of exercise, which is what they're needing. Might be slightly skills based in some of the areas that are of the sports, but there will be no contact, and the children will obviously be adhering to the social protocols. So again, our goal is not for the sport's sake, but it's to make sure that our learners are getting out and getting a bit of fresh air and doing something that's a little bit different. So that's really me done. I'd like to just again thank you, and I'm going to be handing over to the next segment of this video as Mr. Mickelbray. He's going to be chatting through the discipline aspects of our school. And once again, thank you for your support, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video and the information that's imparted to you. Farewell.
Good evening, parents and learners. My name is Mr. Mick, or Mr. Mickelborough. The learners call me Mr. Mick, and I'm the Head of Discipline and Pastoral Care at Curro Hillcrest. And I just want to briefly give you some information around the discipline and pastoral care of Curro Hillcrest. So in terms of the ethos of our discipline, we are a school that focuses on positive discipline. This is obviously completely different to the more old school or authoritarian type of discipline approach, which focuses on what behaviors not to do, where we focus on the behavior that we want to get out of our learners. Learners that will produce solid and upstanding citizens of this country. And so even in any kind of discipline or consequence measures, our focus is on where we want to go with your child from a discipline point of view. In terms of the documents that we work with, we have two. The first one is the Curro Code of Conduct, which you can pick up on Google. If you type in Curro Code of Conduct, you will quickly be sent to the documents on Google. Please, at some stage, read through that. But what you need to know in a nutshell is that the Curro Code of Conduct is behavior that's more geared towards constitutionally illegal behavior. And so whenever a learner's behavior goes to that extent, that is the document under which we will conduct all our investigation and all the procedures that we will follow. From a school-specific point of view, we have what we call a window of safety that was drafted right in the beginning by our first body of parents and learners, as well as teachers, at the inception of our high school. So we've had all stakeholders actually have an opportunity to speak into that document. And that document outlines the general guidelines and behaviors we expect of learners at Curro Hillcrest. This includes just your behavior in the classroom, on the sports field, things like being on time, project completion, homework, etc., as well as your appearance, so your general appearance on the school premises as well as off the school premises. In the window of safety, you will also find our merit and demerit system, which involves green and blue slips for merits and yellow and red slips for demerits. Please read the window of safety at your soonest convenience to get familiar with the way we do things or the way we conduct discipline at our school. There are rewards for the learners who receive blue and green slips for positive behavior, and obviously a desired set of consequences, positive consequences for the learners who shortfall. On that note, I want to just elaborate on a couple of things when the learners come back to school on Wednesday. For the girls, I want to just mention the following 3 things, and I mentioned this on behalf of Mrs. Bester, who's the Dean of Girls, that the girls' skirts may be no longer than 10 centimeters when kneeling on the ground, that earrings may be worn, but only one earring may be worn, and it must be situated on the earlobe. If a learner has if a girl has 2 holes, the earring must be in the lower of the 2. And then lastly, no colouring of nails, no gel, no nail varnish may be worn at any stage. Nails must be natural looking at all times and must be manicured accordingly. So in terms of boys, these are the things that I would like the boys to make sure they focus on when they come to school on Wednesday, and that is their hair, and that includes shaving. So please make sure that, by the way, both boys and girls, that your hair is a natural color. But boys specifically, please make sure that your hair is no shorter than 2 centimeters, no longer than 6 centimeters, and your hairstyle is not eccentric. In other words, it's no steps or comb-overs or mohawks or anything like that. In other words, no Justin Bieber types of hairstyles. So those are the few things I wanted to mention. But just before I finish there, boys, please make sure as well that you're clean shaven and that your sideburns are no longer than half of your ear length. Right, so that's pretty much summing up the discipline in a nutshell. Again, please go read those documents and don't hesitate to email me if you have any questions. Lastly, I'm excited to announce that we have a new counselling psychologist by the way of Miss Sneh Makatini, who's joined us this year, and she's had extensive opportunity to connect with learners over her career, or the youth over her career, and so she's got great experience with the youth, and we know that she's going to make a valuable contribution to the learners at the school who are going to need her guidance and her counselling going forward. And always please remember that there are many members of staff here who are equipped from a lay counsellor's point of view. If your learners would like to connect with them, they may. And we encourage learners to develop relationships with their teachers so that they can have those chats when and if the need arises. But we do have a really fantastic lady on our campus who would love to connect with learners who do need that counselling. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope we have a great start to the year, and I hope your learners love being on our campus. Bye.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hile Pasma, and I head up the Cultural Department at Curro Hillcrest. It is my pleasure to talk you through our extracurricular program this evening. Firstly, I would like to start off by saying that your child's safety is our #1 priority. Please be assured that all COVID-19 safety and operational procedures are in place and will be strictly adhered to. Secondly, it is important for you to know that at Curro Hillcrest, we believe in developing holistic and well-rounded learners. It is therefore compulsory for learners to participate in sport, cultural or service activities in every term of the year. Let's start off by sport. I'll be speaking on behalf of our head of sport, Mr. Warren Perry. Due to the second wave of COVID-19, all weekly sports fixtures have been cancelled, but be assured that we will notify you as soon as this changes. Under normal circumstances, learners can look forward to weekly sports fixtures, derby days, tournaments, various tours, Curro Cups, and also provincial trials. Next up, I'm going to talk into uniform. If you look at the PE kit, learners are required to swim and participate in the general kit. The costume is the endurance costume, and this is available from the Grit store, and the general PE kit are their shorts, dry polo shirts, which is also available from Grit. The sporting kit is sport specific, and specifications about this can be found on the D6 under sports dress codes. Finally, all learners are required to source their own kit for their various sporting activities. Communication runs effortlessly at Curro Hillcrest. Our primary source of communication to parents will be through the D6 communicator. Communication platforms for learners are Teams, the sport and cultural notice boards, coaches and teachers in charge, and also the respective sport and cultural departments. Things to look out for are weekly sport fixtures as well as tour documentation. various sports, culture, and service activities displayed on your screen. We cannot wait to see our learners happy and healthy in the sports and cultural arenas again. Other cultural events to look forward to this term is photos and art at Culture at Kearsney, as well as the exciting inaugural inter-house music and dancing competition, which will take place on an online platform. During this week, you would have received a letter from myself regarding the Curro Art Superhero. Curro Create is the creative engine within the Curro group of schools, and through national projects like CAS, we help learners develop their creative skills to its full potential. Please revert to the CAS information booklet that was attached to the letter, and remember that entries close on the 26th of February. Thank you for sharing your time with us. We wish you health and happiness in these extraordinary times. God bless.
Good evening, grade 12 parents, and welcome to our matric class of 2021. You have finally made it to your last year of formal schooling. Congratulations. I'm Jackie Gaines, and I'll be your grade head for this year, and I'm going to help you along your journey for matric. This year has taken quite some time to get here. You've gone through a lot of hard work, effort, perseverance, and grit to get to matric. And this year is going to be fun and memorable, and not without its own set of challenges. In order to help us navigate these challenges, I'd like to take you through one or two elements that we need to look at that's going to help your year run smooth and give you the best out of matric. There's some information regarding important IEB documents and paperwork, as well as some interesting information regarding matric dance and so forth that we need to get through. So without further ado, let's have a look. The composition of your grade 12 mark is slightly different to how it has happened in previous years. Term 1 and 2 are school-based assessments. They include portfolio pieces, alternative items, and June examinations, resulting in a school-issued report. Term 3 is a school-issued report consisting of your SBA portfolio mark as presented to the IEB in each subject. Term 4, on the other hand, no school-issued report. This is your final IEB results to be presented early in January 2022. The SBA portfolio mark in grade 12 is different for each and every subject, so it's particularly subject specific. We've got maths, physical science, accounting, etc. All your subjects have their own portfolio combinations, and I would suggest that you speak to your relevant subject teachers to assist you with these portfolio items. They all are also subject to change this year due to COVID-19 regulations and might vary from last year to this year, so just keep up to date with it. The pass criteria for matric is, as appears on the screen, higher certificate pass requirements. They must obtain at least 40% for your home language, must obtain at least 40% for 2 other subjects. They must obtain 30% for 4 other subjects, and must pass at least 6 out of their 7 subjects. Diploma pass requirements: must obtain at least 40% for your home language, must obtain at least 40% for 3 other subjects, excluding life orientation. They must obtain at least 30% for the language of learning and teaching of the tertiary institution, so your higher education institution, and they must pass at least 6 out of the 7 subjects. The bachelor's degree pass requirement: this is for university access by learners. They must obtain at least 40% for your home language, that's compulsory. You must obtain at least 50% for 4 other subjects, excluding life orientation, and must obtain at least 30% for language of learning and teaching of the tertiary higher education institution. They must obtain at least 30% for 1 other subject. They must pass at least 6 out of the 7 subjects. Then looking at our nitty-gritty items, the bits and pieces that come along with matric. Previously, learners were able to write the national benchmark test. This is a standard test that is recommended by schools for tertiary studies at university. It currently is suspended, however, due to lockdown. It currently is suspended until lockdown level 0 is reached. However, online testing can be pursued. For further details on the NBTs, please visit the online brochure www.nbt.ac.za. The basis for academic prize giving awards. So first in subject, we awarded the Ducks. The Ducks is first in grade 12 based on aggregates. The runner-up to Ducks is second in grade 12 based on aggregate. And then the Victorum Analytica, first in grade 12 with mathematics included in the subject offering. This is IEB submitted portfolio marks that are used for these calculations. The academic awards evening. Grade 12 learners are honoured with a special awards evening to take place during the first week of term 4. The date will be presented at our second information evening in July, hopefully. Please diarise the special date and we will keep you up to date. It is such a lovely, lovely evening to honour our matrics for all the hard work that they've done this year. IEB fees for 2021. The IEB fees are paid in addition to regular school fees in their final year, as per the fee schedule presented to the parents late in 2020. The fee schedule is available on our D6 as well. The fees payable in relation to the IEB expenses are as follows and will be levied to the school fees account during the course of the year. Therefore, no need for you to make direct payment to the IEB. It is built into the school fees. R7,364 is payable over 10 months. For additional subjects, the amount of R1,275 is levied per subject and will be charged after March once the IEB invoices the learners. And then advanced programs. They will be charged at R1,058 per subject and levied similarly to the additional subjects. Now we get to the matric dance. This is the highlight for any matric learners year and the highlight of our Curro Hillcrest year. The date scheduled currently is the 23rd of July 2021 in term 3. However, please note that this date might be subject to change, dependent on lockdown levels and various aspects in relation to same. Special arrangements are made for this very special day. Girls' hair may be styled and colour according to natural colours for the dance during the preceding holidays. Hair must then be returned to its natural colour 3 weeks later, the date to be confirmed. Nails may be done during the preceding holidays and must be returned to the regulation school nails within 3 weeks after the dance. Boys' appearance. Hair may be grown from the preceding holiday. Importantly, please note that boys' hair must comply with school regulations in the final school day of term 2. An inspection will be done during this week and non-compliance hair and styles will then be sent home for rectification prior to the holidays. Hair may be styled for the dance 1 week in advance. Hair must then be returned to its natural state and be compliant with the window of safety 1 week after the dance. Supplementary examinations. Please note, it is very important, no supplementary examination period exists for the IEB examinations. Any examination missed will result in the subject having to be rewritten in 2022. Absenteeism and assessments. School attendance is absolutely vital for the entirety of the year. Leave for administrative purposes is highly discouraged during this time. Learner's license, driver's license, appointment tests, ID, passports, etc. are to be scheduled during school holiday periods to avoid the learners missing any academic time. Missed portfolio tests and assessments. These have to be written on the day it is scheduled to be done. They may not be deferred to a catch-up date without significant administration. Every learner and teacher will sign a certificate of authenticity indicating that all tasks were completed in accordance with the date and time requirements for that task. Absenteeism will result in a completely new test and memorandum having to be set. This serves only to disadvantage both learners and the school itself. Exam attendance during the June, preliminary and final examination periods is absolutely critical. Failure to complete an examination being used as an official IEB result will result in the learner having to repeat the subject examination in October or November 2022. Plagiarism. Learners are required to ensure that all work handed in is 100% their own original work insofar as sources are not quoted. Any instance of plagiarism will result in a candidate receiving a ban from the IEB for up to 2 years. Please take note of this. This is a very serious matter. Winter School 2021. Provisionally booked for 12 to 16 July. Please take note of these dates. They are on our current Curro Hillcrest calendar, and it is compulsory for all learners in grade 12 to tentatively book this date. A roster of which subjects on which days will be uploaded closer to the time, and learners will then be required to attend these lessons. Please take note that this date may change dependent on our current circumstances. Vehicle usage on Curro Hillcrest premises. We get to that time of the year where most of our learners are in their own cars. Learners with licenses may use their vehicles on school premises only if the vehicle registration number and sheet, as well as a copy of the relevant driver's or learner's license in the case of motorcycles, is presented to reception. No learner will be permitted to operate a vehicle from now on should this documentation not be presented. Please request a letter from the office. No learner may lift another learner in their vehicle without written parental permission being presented to reception. Security at the gate has been briefed to request this written permission prior to allowing learners to leave the premises with other learners in the vehicle. There is help at hand. Matrics are encouraged to approach the grade head should they at any point feel that the pressure or stresses of the year are becoming unmanageable, or if they feel that barriers exist that are inhibiting their academic potential. We are here to assist and will walk the path with every one of our learners to ensure that they achieve results that they can be proud of. Please note that my door is always open and I am available at the email address currently shown, jackie.g@curro.co.za during school hours. And I'm really here to assist you during your matric year, and should you need any help, please call on my office as soon as possible to assist you. I wish you all the best for your final year. It really is my dream for you guys to find your greatness and live up to it. Thank you.